John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Milan Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one. One brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we show it by the things that we do. Today, I just want to elaborate and kind of piggyback on some of the things I've been saying all the time. That here at the village, one of the things that I like most important about the village, we believe in reaching and meeting the needs of the young people, the babies, the young adults, the teenagers. We try to do all that we can to help them, to support them, and to encourage them to be a better person, to get them ready for manhood and womanhood or whatever. And as I was sitting there thinking and talking about that, thinking about it, I was thinking about one of the young men I got a chance. We had these summer workers here, and a lot of them has been repeat workers. Some family members, some of them are not family members. But over the years, I have watched them grown and turn into better young men. Even some of the smaller kids, they are improving. When they used to would play a lot and do a lot of different things and just get into stuff, they're a little more focused now. And we try to encourage them. And what I look at a lot of times, and I see on the other hand, a lot of times we as individuals, adults, sometimes we so busy focusing on the negative things that the children do, the little ones as well as the young adults. But most important, the younger kids are growing up now too. But my focus this for the last month or so has been on the young adults, the 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17-year olds, and trying to encourage them and give them more to think about than, just living and getting a little paycheck and, making a little money and, going on and maybe to buy some clothes or whatever. All of that's good. But and we as a whole, down through the years, you probably remember a lot of time we didn't have a problem with telling those young or those same adults that either they was a problem child or they was always getting into something or they was always messing up doing things. But what I like to do in a lot of cases is to remind them about the things that they are doing. And just like you often hear me talk about, having people to think about things that they're doing before they do it. Think about what you're saying before you say it, because after you say it, it's too late. If it's something bad or negative, the damage has already been done. And during this period of time here, like I say, in the last maybe month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks or so, I've been encouraging the young adults. They've been going on field trips. They've been doing a little work. They uh, been to colleges and farms and different things. We introduce them to a lot of different things that's going on in life and getting them ready to see a lot of these different things, to be exposed to a whole lot of different things. And doing that, I've been watching them, and even here in the village store, watching them, even how they spend their money. They're a little more conscious. They don't just spend now, just spending their little conscious about the health foods and pop or juice or water or a smoothie or something of that sort. They begin to want to eat more healthy than they used to, and I like that. I admire that in them. But also equally as well, like I say, sometimes we find it's easy to find fault in other people or find the things that they're doing wrong. But sometimes after you see and you can't find it, unfortunately, A lot of times we have even found, I've seen people look like they look for fault in others. Well, I try to look at the good and try to ride on that there, try to go with that. I have some of the young men that's come in here and I try to encourage them. And just the other day, there was a young man named Floyd. Uh, he was in here and he and I was talking. And in fact, I had waited on him, got a bag of chips and some water or something of that sort. And I stopped him. I said, Floyd, I said, I just want you to know that I have been watching you over the years and you have turned into a nice young man, a fine young man, uh, more positive young man. I like what I see, and when I say I like what I see, what I mean is that unfortunately, if you look up and down the streets, you see a lot of our young people with their pants sagging, they smoking, they drinking, they loud, and they just getting into everything. And some of them, you could even see the weariness on their body. They may be 15 or 16, but they actually look like they anywhere from 25 to 35 because they don't abuse themselves so much. But these young people, they still talk like young people, they still act like young people, but they more mature. And that's what I was letting him know, that I admire and I like what I see. And I began to share not only with him, with others as they come in here, that, you want to make the right decision, because once you make that bad decision, you can't change it. You can't, go back and say, let's redo. Sometimes, you get into it, and the best thing to do is to not to be hanging out with a whole lot of people. Know the people that you're hanging out with. And I say that to say, that because when you got all them numbers, you hanging out with 3 4 5 boys, young men or whatever, the police is watching that and you're almost asking for trouble. And then sometimes it may not even be you, but that peer pressure comes down on you and you find yourself doing things that you would normally do yourself, but you doing it because you with that crowd. And in some cases you've been egged on to fight, to harm somebody, to do something that you really wouldn't do normally, and then after the fact that you done either got into it and made the wrong decision, fussing and arguing. Sometimes it's better to just walk away. But then if you just can't walk away, sometimes it's just best to keep your mouth closed, because it takes two people to argue, it takes two people to fight, it takes two people just to get into stuff. So I encouraged him and I told him and I began to share a little information to give him something to think about. I said, think about this. If you get in a fight and you can't walk away and you make a decision to cut someone, to stab someone, to shoot them, unfortunately, the kids today are playing these games, and a lot of those games desensitize the kids because they shooting them, they blowing off heads, they cutting off arms, and they see the blood on the video splashing everywhere, so it don't even phase them. So now they don't have a problem with hurting somebody or want to take off a head or and see blood. It don't even phase them. And I told him it's best to walk away from that, because once you get in trouble, you find a gun and shoot somebody, a knife to stab them, and you go to jail, and God forbid if you happen to kill somebody, it don't only affect you, and trust me, it affects you very much, but it also affects your mother, your father, your sisters and brothers. And if you got a girlfriend, your little girlfriend, you don't have the time, you can't take the time. You're gonna be wishing I wouldn't have done that. I can't go see mom. I can't go see my girlfriend. I can't go to the movies. I can't go shopping. I can't go to the mall. I can't go skating and do these different things. Unfortunately, because of that decision that you have made and did something like that, you end up in jail. Then you have to go to bed. When they say go to bed, you're locked up in a cell. If you're lucky, it may be 9 feet by 9 feet. Everything, the bed, toilet, stool, everything right there in the same room. You got no privacy. You can't watch TV. You watch TV when they say you watch it. If they say go outside, you go outside. They say eat, you eat. Then, and then not only that, you done affected the other people, the person that you got into it with, their family. They got mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers, girlfriends, friends. Now they're no longer here, and those people suffering because they miss their loved ones. So sometimes you have to just take the time out and let these young people know that you and encourage them to keep up the good work, to keep doing what they're doing, keep making those right decisions. And he told me, he said, Uncle John, thank you. He said, I appreciate that. He said, "Well, just like you said, though, he said, I try to stay out the way. I try not to be hanging out like that. I got my little friend I go see, and then I go on back home or do whatever." So I just hope that not only me doing it, if everybody, because it's easy to talk about how bad somebody is and how much they mess up. They got drunk and they smoking and they doing this here. But when you see them young people doing better, let them know you see them. Encourage them. Let them know. Tell them to keep up the good work. So hopefully today I said something to encourage you guys. Thank you for listening to John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Alkemalon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And thank you for listening. Have a great day. Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Alkemalon Village. And today we are coming to you with Mr. Cofield and myself. And at this point in time, Mr. Cofield is going to share some information about the village and what's happening right now.
Well, first of all, I want to give John the Candy Man a standing ovation for what he's done for the last 40 years here on the East Side. And I really say that because I've known him for 50 years. And some folks throw their hands up. John has rolled up his sleeves and put his hands into the soil and made what we're doing here at the village a reality. And I'm just excited, and I don't mind sharing the information that here at the village for the last 47 years, we've been doing some good in the neighborhood. This summer is very important to us because we have been able to serve over 250 young, matter of fact, 250,000 young people, their children, their parents, their elders. All of them have made the village what it is today. But for this particular summer, we are preparing to go back to school. Everyone has to go back to school. Everyone's trying to get school supplies, book bags, and we're fortunate and very excited about being able to do a martial art tournament, back to school martial art tournament, because the martial art is what built the Akiba line. That was gave us the beginning of our program. Had it not been for the martial arts, Akiba line Village would not be here today. So in supporting and respecting the martial arts, most martial art tournaments you usually have to pay the competitor as well as the spectator. This summer, we're going to have a children's karate tournament for all children. And guess what? They don't have to pay anything. We say free 99. So we're going to have children from all over the Midwest coming to Detroit to compete in our Kivalon Village Back to School Martial Art Tournament. And also, spectators usually have to pay $10 to $15 to come and watch this epic, I would say one of the greatest events of all time that we've done for the last 47 years. And guess what? The spectators won't have to pay anything. We want to give and show that it's not just by getting, but giving back. So once again, August the 16th, which is on a Saturday, August the 16th, here at the Village on Harper and Baldwin, one block west of Van Dyke, we're going to have a children's tournament. The children will not have to pay to compete, nor will the spectators will have to pay to come and watch our children compete. So once again, we're giving a shout out to all of you all who are in the martial arts or who would like to learn what the martial art is all about. Saturday, August the 16th at 10 o'clock a.m., we will be registering over 200 or 300 students from all over the Midwest, and they will get a chance to demonstrate what they've learned. And at the end, we will be giving medals away, first, second, and third place. But equally important, they're going to get a book bag of supplies, and it won't cost them anything. So we're saying we want you and everybody else to spread the word here at the Village. It takes a village. Talk is cheap, work is expensive. And we at the village have put the work in for the last 47 years. But remember, it's not a me, it's a we.
Thank you, and we appreciate that, Mr. Cofield. So hopefully you guys don't forget on August the 16th, right here at the village, 7701 Hopper. Phone number 313-921-1616. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience. Thank you and have a great day.
Appreciate you.
John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.